This is my review of the deluxe edition of Brzrkr, not to be confused with Brzrkr. Oh, fantastic, we're starting with confusion already. Very different things. One of them involves far fewer exploding heads. I'll let you guess which. I thought it was about postal workers going berserk during Christmas. Kind of disappointed. I'm going to put this down because this is super heavy. This was a hugely successful Kickstarter. It set a record for the most money raised for a comic book project. The initial goal was only $50,000 and they raised $1.4 million. And issue 1 went on to sell over 650,000 copies. The biggest selling single issue of a comic since 2015 when they restarted Star Wars with Star Wars #1. That's a lot of mail. You'd need a forklift just for the stamps. Yes, because that's what we want to talk about, the postage. It was a collaboration between Keanu Reeves and Matt Kindt and illustrated by Ron Garney. And Keanu really doesn't need an introduction. He starred in my favourite movie of all time, The Matrix. And it sounds like Keanu was pretty heavily involved in the whole project. And by involved we mean put a lot of violence in. And as for the others, I'm not so immersed in the comic world. I've read things like Y the Last Man, Fables, Akira, Transmetropolitan, a bunch of others. I'm not really into the superheroes. So what I know about Matt Kindt and Ron Garney is basically by looking on their Wikipedia page. Oh, nice one. Nothing says expert reviewer like skimming the Wikipedia page. I read Wikipedia once. Matt Kindt has written for Dark Horse and DC/Vertigo and a bunch of others. And he's been nominated for the Eisner Award. And Ron Garney seems to have worked on just about everything: Captain America, Spider-Man, Justice League, etc, etc. So briefly, it's about an immortal, indestructible warrior called B who's been living for about 80,000 years. He's ultra-violent and he now works for the US government doing special ops. They want to learn the secret behind his immortality and indestructible nature. There's so much violence in this comic, like fists exploding through heads. Yeah, it's super violent, but it works in a comic because the art is a little bit abstract, so it doesn't have that sort of impact that seeing something photorealistic would have. The concept is great. The first few chapters, not a problem. But then it really starts to slow down after that, especially the last several issues. They've got some nice big full-page spreads, but it doesn't seem to move the story anywhere. But the pages are shiny. And some of it becomes kind of borderline nonsensical. Yeah, it really kind of drags towards the end, just not knowing where it's going. This is the deluxe edition and it has commentary from Reeves and Kindt on every page of issue 1. So it explains the subtle choices around colour, the panel layout and the pacing. I really appreciate the look at the kind of deeper psychology of how comics work and what techniques can be used to convey as much information to the reader as possible without them even realising it. Oh, and I love that they put in a panel which is basically the sad Keanu meme. There's also a live-action film and an anime in development, but who knows how far they are through development. Imagine John Wick on steroids. There are also extra one-shot comics which I haven't read, and then there's also a book written by China Miéville called The Book of Elsewhere, written in collaboration again with Keanu. So overall, it's worth a read. It's got a strong concept. There is that flipping backwards and forwards between two timelines that I enjoy because there's the current day stuff with the US government and there's the older history of the birth of B and then other incidents through his life in the last 80,000 years. And the deluxe edition obviously gets that commentary at the end, which was pretty cool. Well, I liked it. It is worth reading, just don't expect the pacing to hold up. Thank you everyone for your helpful input. Anyway, that's my review of Brzrkr, the deluxe edition. Thanks for watching.